Crush Your Mountain Personal Growth. I'm really excited to have with me today an entrepreneur. You know, there's a wonderful saying that we're going to explore with Mr. Jose Escobar. And that saying is, a rising tide raises all ships. How does he make that possible? And why is it so important that you and I do that? Well, I want to tell you something. Think about this. The blue zones are areas where people live longer. And one of the keys to their living longer is having the right association. And the old saying is that you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around the most. So we're going to hang out with Mr. Jose Escobar. He was born in Washington, D.C. and resides with his family in Maryland. He is happily married to his wife, Katie Escobar. Together they have 5 children. Currently, he is the sales director for the educational funding company, EFC. Jose is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. His best-selling program, The Morning and Evening Routine Mastery, has generated over 6 figures in only 7 months. He is also the founder of the Connected Leaders Academy that has surpassed the 6-figure mark in under 5 months and is rapidly growing its members globally. Jose is a best-selling author, speaker, high-performance coach, and hosts live events for entrepreneurs across the country. And we're going to sort of do a deep dive into the mind of this incredible gentleman, because we've got to see what it takes to rise with him. Mr. Jose Escobar, welcome to Crush Your Mountain Personal Growth.
Thank you so much, Henry, for having me. I'm honored to be here, and let's dive right in. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Well, that said, tell us a little bit about the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Why a bookshelf?
So a bookshelf specifically because that is one of the key components of what has transformed my life, is reading books, and not just any books. We're not talking about just a novel for the sake of reading, which is healthy, but not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about specifically reading books that are going to move the needle in my life, both personally and professionally. That's what I've done, and that's kind of where I started. And the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf was born in 2019, and I was very average across the board, not really doing anything special. Average father, average husband, average income, average health, you name it. It was just average Joe, but not really average Joe, more like average Jose, right? And I was just tired of just being average. I knew I had so much in me. I knew I had so much potential, and I needed to tap into the seeds of greatness that are within me and within all of us. And I wasn't doing that. So I said, something's got to give. So I told my wife in 2018, I said, you know what, the year of 2019, I'm going to focus on developing a morning routine and an evening routine, all the stuff I've been researching and learning for years, and start applying it and taking my life seriously. And I would wake up at 5 a.m., go to bed by 10:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, no excuses, zero compromise, high level discipline for a year. And let me tell you, Henry, in that 1 year of me doing that, I doubled my income. I launched a business from scratch, not knowing how to do it. And I got out of debt, became a better father, a better husband. I started reading a book a week, intellectually stimulating my mind to the next level. I lost 36 pounds. The list goes on and on and on. The 10 life domains that Michael Hyatt talks about in his book, Your Best Year Ever, really helped me take my life to the next level. And then I said, well, if I did this in a year, if I changed my life across the board in 1 year by just the bookends of my day, then I can teach other people to do the same thing, except I'll do it in 8 weeks. I'll create a high ticket sales program, an 8-week course, 8-week program for entrepreneurs and busy professionals. And that is where the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf was born. And here we are.
That is truly amazing. Now, you have the 5 a.m. routine. Robin Sharma also has the 5 a.m. club. And so you guys are in the same boat. Me, I do the 4 a.m. club. I kind of jumped on that bandwagon. My routine also is very similar in terms of what I do in the morning, because that changed my life. I know what that did for me physically. I lost 25 pounds, and I was able to crystallize where I wanted to be. And I like what you said, because so many people don't realize it, that indeed everyone has their own seed of greatness, their own ability to make changes for themselves and move forward and move up. You know, that's the million thing about it. So do you have a specific methodology that you follow when you're working with individuals in your ticket?
Yeah. So, and just to add to what you said earlier, you said 4 a.m. I'm in the 4 a.m. club too now. So we're together because since I launched the program in 2019, I mean, it's literally, or sorry, I launched it at this point 10 and a half months ago. But when I started the program, I started my own program. I was doing 5 a.m. and then I eventually started moving the needle slowly to now 4 a.m. I'll never go earlier than 4 a.m. but I like 4 a.m. But that's where I'm at now. So in terms of, I'm sorry, I lost your question. Ask me again.
I was asking about your methodology. What do you call it? Yeah.
Yeah. So a methodology in terms of how I deliver the program. So first of all, it's an 8-week program. And I have a customized document that I give all of the new people who enroll. And it's really just a blank sheet that has the dates and times and all these different parts for the morning routine and the evening routine. And they fill it out along the way. So once they learn from a particular module and a particular item, they then have action items associated to it. So now that you've learned this, now you got to apply this. So I talk about like 35 different things that high performers, titans of industry do. A lot of the greats out there like Robin Sharma, Hal Elrod, Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, this goes on. A lot of them have spoken on certain parts of this. Everybody talks about the morning routine, but very few talk about the evening routine. And to me, they're interconnected because that's how you create maximum productivity. And as they say, the best morning routine begins the night before. So that's kind of where I'm at. So what I do is I have 36 modules pre-recorded. The clients get to watch the modules. They're really high level in terms of content and value. And then they start digesting it with a workbook that they start applying. They answer a lot of tough questions, along the way. And they start kinesthetically applying what they're learning as they progress. So by the end of the 8 weeks, they walk out on the other end with their own customized morning and evening routine that they now apply and over time mold throughout the years, because life, change, of course, happens. And of course, I have 2 live group coaching calls a week. So we get together as a big group. I answer Q&A, questions. Everybody chimes in. It's a very interactive call. What are the things that you're struggling with? What are the wins that you've had so far? What questions do you have? What is your experience like? So we kind of experience that. We have a private community, a mastermind group only for the members. So that's kind of the process. I really cover a lot of things: affirmations, visualization, commonplacing, reading, nutrition, prayer, breath work. What else do we do? Journaling, preparing your calendar the night before, and the list goes on.
So that's the interesting thing, because you mentioned breath work. And for some people that sounds kind of woo-woo,
Yeah.
So could you go in and let us know a little bit more about breath work? Yeah. Why is it so effective in state change so that an individual can grow from within?
Well, the brain needs oxygen, right? So when you start controlling the oxygen, getting the oxygen in the right places, and especially breathing from the right place, like your diaphragm, right? Very, very important, because as babies, babies breathe from their stomach up and down, if you notice, right? As we get older and we start to experience life and stress and you name it, we start to breathe from up top. And that is not very healthy. There's a lot of great books on that. Wim Hof is a phenomenal person in the space of breath work, and he's all about the cold and how he handles his breath work. And he has some really cool techniques. But I would recommend checking out Wim Hof. The Wim Hof method is a great system. But the whole idea is, in the morning, it's just really good to put yourself, as I go into a state of meditation and prayer before I go into breath work, it's important to just control your breath, to take deep, thorough, breaths, and have some kind of a system. Tony Robbins has another process on how he does breath work, but it's important to it gets you calibrated for the day. It gets you clarity of thought, energized, just a lot of benefits to having appropriate breath work. And you got to really think about how you're breathing, because a lot of us hold our breath way more than we actually realize, and we're not getting the appropriate oxygen to our mind, which is important.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest challenge many times. we are, especially if we are sedentary and we're focused at work, many times what happens is we might be breathing, but something catches our attention, especially if it's a surprise, tense moment. It could be an email or something like that. The boss comes up and we literally stop breathing for a few seconds. They're seeing that happen. You know, another thing too, when it comes to breath work, just to touch, you know, take a little further, just in everyday breathing, people do not realize the importance of breathing just through your nose. These simple things, you know, just breathing through your nose will actually, and I tell individuals this, if you're trying to lower your blood pressure and you're trying to lower your glucose, the reason why you breathe through your nose, well, guess what? When you breathe through your nose, your body actually is developing more nitric oxide, the stuff that expands your blood pressure, blood vessels, lowers your blood pressure. You're going into the rest and digest mode, and guess what? That is in turn lowering your glucose. So all that is so important. I'm so glad that you mentioned that and brought that up and kind of went into depth. Wim Hof, huh?
Yeah, I love that guy. He's very tenacious. He has something special there, but he's a master of what he does, and he actually has retreats and various things where people go to experience what he does, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us one other thing too. Now, when it comes to your Entrepreneurs Connect, your Leaders Academy, Connected Leaders Academy, you know, why is that so vital in terms of raising all ships, as it were, helping all individuals to rise above their current level?
Yeah, so great question. The Connected Leaders Academy, the reason why I even launched it, right, is because I know so many people, you know, from my own personal travels to my travels with EFC in the martial arts space. I've met so many titans of industry, high performers, and I said they all know me, but they don't know each other. So I said, let me just put them all under one community, one tribe, and call it the Connected Leaders Academy. We're now 215 members, 11 countries, 34 states, very exciting stuff. And I realize entrepreneurs, generally speaking, love to do 5 things. They love to grow personally and professionally. They love to scale their influence, be the authority in their space. They love to move the needle in their business, which means more referrals, more clients, more money, the bottom line. They love to develop their skill sets, right? Because we're all working on something or trying to get better and improve. And then, of course, they want to grow their network, their circle. We've all heard your network is your net worth. It's not what you know, but who you know. There's all these different reasons about connection and people, right? So that's how opportunities happen. So I developed the Connected Leaders Academy and launched it, a membership, a community, a subscription-based model for entrepreneurs specifically, because I realized that's what everybody wants. So I created a membership program with all of those benefits, 10 different moving parts for that purpose, because connection is so critical in the space of entrepreneurship. And if we can, as entrepreneurs, come together to inspire each other, to equip each other, to serve each other, to learn and grow from each other, then all of a sudden we become better entrepreneurs. And by default, the clients that we serve improve their lives as well. So we're really creating world change. And that's the big vision. That's why I'm doing what I do. And that's why the Connected Leaders Academy is thriving, because people love to learn and grow and connect with each other.
Yes, absolutely. So when you're thinking about connecting folks, understand your choice of connection will determine your own growth outcome. If you look at individuals and look for individuals who are moving forward in life, whose mindsets can expand in terms of their horizons, then those are the individuals you latch onto. Those are the individuals that you seek to serve, and that in turn will serve you, and you guys will rise together. I'll tell you, you know, it's one of those things where I run into so many individuals who need to make the change, but they are stuck in their own paradigm of prison, as it were. So, you know, what can be done for individuals, let's just say, and I'm thinking about, say, young individuals who are maybe trapped in a totally different environment where they don't have access to the entrepreneurs and things like that entirely. What can they do? Let's say they're in their early 20s or maybe in their late teens. How can we help an individual like that?
So that is, I would say the following. Opportunity. So opportunity and preparedness. When you combine those two, they equal success, right? Because a lot of times opportunities come, but we're not prepared. Or we are prepared, very much so, and super equipped and have all the knowledge ready to go, but there's no opportunity. So success happened when opportunity and preparedness collide. And I've been saying that for a long time. And for me, I would say very simple. If you're out there and you're listening to this podcast and you're an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur, meaning you want to have a business but don't have one yet, and just so you know, having an LLC doesn't mean you're an entrepreneur. It just means you're preparing to be an entrepreneur, right? And you got to execute. So there's a simple plan that I would advise. Number one is you have to believe in yourself. It starts there. You have to believe in yourself. Let me say that one more time. You have to believe in yourself, because that is so critical. It is so critical. People wait for affirmations and approval from everybody around them, from their family, from their spouse, from their children, from their friends, from their employer. They wait for somebody to say it's okay, or I believe in you, to want to do something or take action. You have to believe in you before anybody will believe in you. So that's the first thing I'll say, is start believing in yourself. Number two, I would say develop a plan. And the plan starts with the end in mind. What is the ultimate goal? What are you trying to achieve? What is your dream, your vision, your mission? What are you trying to do? And don't make it just a monetary thing. Make it a impact-driven thing. And the money will come, because I believe income is directly linked to impact and vice versa, right?
Do what you love, the money will follow.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So then once you have this plan in place, you reverse engineer it and say, what do I need to give up to get there? What are the appropriate steps that I need to do to achieve that? And then you have your goals in place, which is going to be the annual goal backed by the semi-annual goal, by the monthly goal, to the weekly goal, to the daily activity. And make sure you have your metrics in place. Understand what it's going to take. What is considered a terrible day? What is considered a bad day? What is considered a good day? And what is considered a great day? And when you have those metrics in place, you can then gauge your days little by little as you track your progress. So that would be the second thing, is create a plan that's actionable, very specific. Specificity is key. And actually, Michael Hyatt, in his book, Your Best Year Ever, he has a phenomenal framework called the SMARTER framework, right? The SMARTER is the new version of the SMART framework. It's a SMARTER framework. So I would say look into that, look it up and look into that framework. And then once you have a plan, the next logical step, take massive action. And I use the word massive specifically because it's not just action, it's massive action. And once you execute and you take massive action, the key is discipline, a tremendous hard work ethic, laser focus, and consistency. And then you're going to hit it.
I love the Anthony Robbins phrase, take massive action, because that's the first person I heard say that. And learning from him back in the day changed a lot in my life. And, I love the fact that we were able to move forward. Now you have 5 children.
Right.
And each of them have got to be very different in personality in different ways. So what is your mentoring style? One of those guys sounds when it comes to that. And the reason why I ask that is because being a father is so very vital, but it is it's an art, really is. And so tell me about how you work with your young ones, and then how that spills over into your coaching, doing your one-on-one coaching with clients.
Yeah, so it's all about directing them with the appropriate leadership based on their personality and who they are, right? So I'll give you one example. This is a book I read to my children, right? One Word for Kids. It's the kids version of One Word, right? And Life Word with John Gordon, Dan Britton, and Jimmy Page. These are leadership type books. These are books for busy professionals and entrepreneurs. So I find material and content out there that can apply to my children, that'll give them some leadership, give them some insights on how to navigate life, right? So a lot of what I do is I determine, okay, what is their personality? Some of the children require a little bit of a raised voice. Some of them just require a, hey, stop for a second, sit right here, look at me in my eyes and focus, and let me tell you something. And that's all they require. Everyone is different. So you got to know the personality. You have to adjust to the personality. And everything I do, it starts from God, because I'm a man of God. I'm a spiritual person, very involved in my church. I start there with faith. And then I put in there the importance of family and making sure that we spend time together, making sure that that's a priority. And then we go into all the other things that are important, right? Like in this case, school. If you don't have a job yet, that's your career. That's your focus, your primary focus. And then we go into health, making sure that you're taking care of your health, that you're eating right, that you're working out, that you understand the value of that, the importance of that. And the list goes on and on, right? So with that being said, I just do this consistently, day in and day out. They need time, because that's how they know you love them, especially when they're young. They need time. So time, direction, instilling values and virtue in their lives, and not just telling them, leading by front. I live my life a certain way to where they see me. I love my children catching me in the act of excellence. I love that, because when they see me doing what I preach, it's a stamp of approval to say, yep, he's real, he's authentic, that's what it's about. And they will always catch me in that type of way, because I don't have two lives. The way you see me outside is the way you see me at home, and the way you see me at church, the way you see me with my friends, the way you see me at a business conference. It doesn't matter, because authenticity and real and rawness is important. So with that being said, I lead by example, and John Maxwell says it best: leadership is influence. So I influence my children by leading, by being on the front lines and doing what I'm preaching, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you're dealing with clients, you say you deal with clients all over the world. How does the culture clash, or how do you manage to bring the two opposing cultures together and just working with clients that way?
So what I have found is that the major difference that I have found is the way the money is transacted, right? The different types of currency that's being used, and the exchange and all that. That's like the only thing that to me I found to be dramatically different, because they all speak English. Any country that we're in right now, we're in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Guatemala, Colombia, Thailand, Egypt. Like, everybody that I've connected with speaks English, because that it is a US based company. So we connect. There's of course accents, and there's like maybe personality differences. I'm sure there's some cultural things, but I haven't found it to be very difficult. It's pretty much, we all understand that money moves the needle. We all understand that to create more impact, you need to make a certain amount of money, because you have more ability to do it. We understand hard work. We understand rolling up your sleeves and looking at the end of your own arm to get the job done. We understand the value of teamwork, the value of being in a community. So this is pretty much what we're all about. And so far, I haven't really had any major challenges in terms of the working with other countries.
Wow, that's very cool, though. That's actually very cool. Because I'm kind of a multicultural guy, so I love to work with individuals across the world. And even here in the city of Oaks, we have a large, diverse community, and I love it. You know, I'm from New York originally, so that's what I'm used to. Used to walking down the street, hearing about 5 different languages, you know, at one time. You see,
it's wonderful. So, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about it. And like I said, coming from a place like, say for instance, I kind of come to go to where they are, so to speak. You know, I love to learn a little bit about the cultural, linguistic history of an individual, and I kind of come from that place so that we have that rapport, we have that understanding. You know, so of course, they all understand dollar, and even though it might be euros, it might be hryvnias, it might be rubles, it might be something else, but they understand the dollar. But the most important thing is, because when it comes to an individual making a change within themselves, before that, they have to understand the language of their heart.
Oh yeah.
how that applies. And that's what I love helping people to do. I will ask you this too. I know that you're a busy guy and you've got so much going on, and you're going to go to bed at 10:30, right? And you're going to be up at 4. So that means you got a lot packed in. But in doing that and making the changes that you make with going from different hats, my question to you is this: what do you do? In fact, I'll ask you this one question because we're going to wrap it up a little bit. So I'll ask you this, Jose Escobar, what does it mean to you to crush your mountain?
I love that question. That's a really thought-provoking question, very open-ended question that could lead to all kinds of things. And there's so many things I'd want to say. But specifically, if I had to just narrow down to one thing, it would be courage. Having the courage to keep asking for the next sale when you've had 10 no's in a row. It's the courage to keep showing up when a member quits your membership program, or a client cancels their account and says, I'm done, or your friend or family member or anybody doesn't believe in you or says something negative to put you down or discourage you. It is the all of the negativity that comes with being an entrepreneur. It's very tough. There's an oxygen tank, right? And the oxygen tank of the entrepreneur is constantly emptying. And we have to refill that oxygen tank on a consistent basis to have the courage, to have the energy, to have the drive, the tenacity, the grit, all of these things that are required. So for me, I had to overcome procrastination. I had to overcome fear. I had to overcome insecurities. I had to overcome imposter syndrome. I have to overcome lack of confidence. All of these things that we all deal with in life. The number one thing that has happened in my life for this mountain that we talk about is courage.
That is so vital, because if you break down that word courage, it comes from the French word cœur, which means heart. So everyone has a heart, but now do we really reach down? Do we dig down into the power that's there and use that to move forward? And that's so vital that we do that. I want to thank you so very much, Jose, for being here with us. It's your power and your courage is there. You have that lion appeal. You see, I think when Papa speaks, I think the kids get moving. I get that impression, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But we look forward to encouraging as many as we can to join up with the Connected Leaders Academy so that we can learn. I look forward to joining that space eventually myself, sooner than later. And most importantly, I want to do this. I want to encourage everyone to do what you can to reach out to those that can raise your level, raise your vibration. Do what you can to connect with individuals like Jose and others that have been on this program, because that is how you build the muscle, the internal strength, the intestinal to crush your mountain. And that's what I always say at the end of this show. Don't just climb your mountain, crush it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a whole lot, Jose.